someone who throws off sparks all the time. Reverend Tim Peterson, and he's going to be speaking to us about a perfect work of art.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nice tie.
I'm growing a little bit of a goatee here, and somebody was saying, I don't know what to feel about that, and I said, well, I'd say just it's kind of sexy. So I'm going to hold to that. Same with the pink bow tie, and same with life. Please join with me in an opening spiritual mind treatment. Let's get sexy. Just breathe. Breathe in life. Breathe in love. Breathe in harmony and peace. Just let my words become your words if they fit. Because this is what I know to be true. That there is one power, and only one power that moves through this universe, that moves through me and it moves through each person here. And I realize that this one power honors us in creating for us the life that we choose. So today I choose love and I choose peace. I choose harmony. I choose a joyful acceptance of the truth that has come down from the ages, that one power that supports and sustains all is the only power, is the power of love, of peace, of harmony, of creativity, of passion and purpose. So I embrace this idea of the science of mind and I embody it. And when I embody it, I embolden it for others to see, for others to use, and for others to grow with. Today I'm so grateful for being here, for having this time, for being in this place. So all the stuff that doesn't fit into that gratitude, I just release. And I embody a greater idea of gratitude, of thanksgiving, of harmony. There is one power, that power is love. And that power is my power right now. So with gratitude, not for one thing, but for everything, I release this and I let it be so. So it is. I want to begin with an ending. It's a story called Discouraged. As I was driving home from work one day, I stopped to watch a local Little League baseball game that was being played in a park near my home. As I sat down behind the bench on the first baseline, I asked one of the boys what the score was. "We're behind 14-0, he answered with a smile. "Really?" I said. "I have to say you don't look very discouraged." "Discouraged?" the boy asked with a puzzled look on his face. "Why should we be discouraged? We haven't been up to bat yet." You know, it's funny, we get into that point of sometimes fear and sometimes discouragement, and we have to realize that we just haven't been up to bat yet. It's our turn now, but it's only our turn when we decide it's our turn. And a lot of times when we think that, you know, my life is just, this is my life, this is my life, this is my life, I don't think we've looked at our lives. I don't think we've looked where we live, in the time that we live. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful to be in this time, in this place, in this city. There's so much stuff going around the world right now that just doesn't honor. There's people that are fighting, there's people that are dying. There's people that have, I don't think, any gratitude in their hearts today for what's going on in their lives right now. And I feel for them, and I feel a compassion for each person there. And you know what I'm talking about. You know where I'm talking about. You know what's going on. It's hard not to know what's going on in this world. We're so connected. And yet that connection seems to stop sometimes when it's us and them. That they are going through this. Well, it's not just them that's going through this. We are going through this. I am going through this. I'm feeling the pain that a lot of these people are feeling right now. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling that energy of it. There's some fear happening all over the world right now, and we have to either let go of it or change it. Change it to something else, something that we can use. Something that honors us and honors them. Who's planned some Thanksgiving things for this week? Who's going to eat turkey? Or you know what we do a lot of times is we plan all this stuff and we have the turkey and we have all the friends over, but it seems like that takes the spotlight for Thanksgiving. Instead of really wondering what we're thankful for and really saying what we're thankful for. You've got some sheets in your programs today, just notes, it says. And I'd like you to just write down one thing that you're grateful for today. One thing that you're thankful for. Today's message was going to be about living as that perfect work of art. And it still kind of is, but it's going to be different. Today's talk's all about Thanksgiving and how we live our gratitude. This week my wife Linda and I celebrated our 43rd anniversary. She didn't clap.
She probably didn't hear you say my life.
When it's funny because we think that it's the big anniversaries that matter. The 10 year, the 20 year, the 25 year, and it's this anniversary that matters. And this is the only one that matters. It's like this day is the only day that matters in my life right now, because I can't go back and change anything from the past. I can only work from now. I can only work in today, in this moment. An anniversary is a perfect time to not only look back on the blessings of your life, but to look forward to the blessings that are going to be part of your ongoing lives too. My wife has taught me so much. She has given me so much. When I went for my ministerial exam 26 years ago down at the Sillamar in Monterey, California, I heard something that didn't belong in this teaching. It was a warning from a minister that if I pursued this ministry, my chances of staying married were slim to none. I was told that if you were single, get used to it. And if you are married, plan on being single. When I heard this, I was gobsmacked, disappointed, and to tell you the truth, I was a little bit disillusioned. How could anyone who teaches the science of mind principle, and especially teaching other ministers, just starting out, bring this idea into mind? And why would they? And then afterwards, as I was thinking about it, it was years later, because I was holding on to this for a while. Years later, how could anyone do that became, how could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? But we have to get through that. We have to get through that old idea of them being wrong and realize who they were at the time and who they are now. Because anytime somebody tells me something that is less than I am, it's because they're feeling somehow less than they are. And when we hold people up to a higher standard than we hold ourselves up to, then if they fall, we fall. And if they fall, it's a long fall down. And especially if we hold them up on that pedestal that we sometimes hold people up on. He was big into this teaching. And all of a sudden I heard something that just didn't support this teaching. And it shook me. I went home and told my wife this. And she looked at me, and we've been married about 5 years, 10 years maybe. Yeah. And she said, we're going to have to do something about this, aren't we? We're going to have to change that consciousness. We're going to have to change those words. We're going to have to change it and bring a new way of thinking into this teaching. So not only can you have a wonderful family life, not only can you get married, you can have a delightful marriage, you can have a magnificent marriage, you can have anything that you want. Because it's not up to them to tell you what you want, it's up to you to prove to you what you want and to take what you want. Because the universe is just saying, here it is. Come and get it. And we hold back and then we think, well, this is too much, this is too big, this is too nice. It's almost like a plate of gold is there, and somebody says, and there's a sign saying, take as much as you want, and we go in there saying, we still look for somebody to say it's okay for us to take something. It's okay for us to take something. It's okay for us to take love, and it's okay for us to give love, and it's okay for us to take prosperity and health and wholeness, because it's okay. And there's nobody holding us back from doing that, except us. Except those old thoughts that we will not get beyond that. Those old thoughts that I am not worthy of this. Those old, tired thoughts that we've dragged around with us for years and years and years that no longer have a place within our lives. What are you grateful for? What did you write on your piece of paper? Who's grateful for something? Alice, what are you grateful for?
I am grateful to be alive.
Be alive. What are you grateful for?
For all the love in my life.
All the love in your life. What are you grateful for?
Family.
Family. What are you grateful for? What?
Good health.
Good health. So many times we go through this Turkey Day, and that's what we call it, or some people call it Turkey Day. Instead of Thanksgiving, giving thanks for all that we have and for all that we are and for all the events that have happened in our lives that got us to this point. Who's had some crap happen in their lives? It's hard sometimes to say thanks to that, And yet, it's that stuff that got us to this point right now. And once we can say we're grateful for this is what happened, and not in the moment, but in hindsight, we can see a greater idea manifesting itself through our lives. But it only comes from that one source. It only comes from living life. And we can say, happy, happy, joy, joy, all we want, but there's stuff in our lives that just isn't that happy, happy, joy, joy. But we can create and recreate anything that we want out of that. Because it's our thoughts that determine our experience. Years ago I had a vehicle, a Buick. And it was brought to the center, and I was scared to drive it because it was making so much noise. And I took it for an estimate, and they told me it was $4,000 to get it fixed. And I thought, I don't have $4,000. So I took it to another estimate, and it was higher. And I didn't like that at all. So I went outside and I started up again, and I dreaded even starting it up. And I remember Reverend Kathleen coming out behind me, and she heard me start this car up, and she went and knocked on my window, and I rolled down the window. She said, I think your power steering's gone. And I said, okay. And I went out and lifted up the hood, and I looked under the hood, and why I looked under the hood, I have no idea. I was hoping to see a sign going, fix me, fix me, fix me. And so I looked, and she said, yeah, it's your power steering. And I said, well, I went and got my power steering done, and it cost me about $130. And that was the only thing that was wrong with my vehicle. But I stopped myself from doing that because, a woman shouldn't know more about a car than we hold ourselves back from old ideas that no longer serve us. And I could have gone and I could have got $4,000 worth of work done because I wanted to be right. Or I could have listened and did something that honored me and it honored her. Because from that moment on, she was my kind of go-to person for mechanical advice. And she's good at it. And she's done it all of her life. Cars are not my friends until I make them my friends. A car is an analogy of my life. The power steering, to me, is an analogy of living this life and moving through the roads of life. Does anybody remember no power steering in a vehicle? Yeah. And it was cranking and cranking and cranking, and then it was hard. And to parallel park was like, no. And now it's just a finger. And isn't it nice to drive through life that way? With power steering and just easily, wherever you want to go, just move your finger. Just move it back and forth. It's not an effort anymore. When we get new tires, it's kind of being grounded in this life. Because we always need to be grounded. We always need traction for us. And tires in wintertime are really important because they let us stop too. Good tires. Brakes are important also. When we're going too far, and we just say, hold it, we need to slow down, we need those brakes to stop us. We need that engine that keeps us going, that gets us moving. And we need that transmission. The whole car is an analogy, if we let it be something for us, something that we use, and something that honors us as we use it. We sometimes have people teach us from the depth of the pain and from the realization that since they couldn't do it, no one should be able to, and that's what that minister did. They were coming from that sense that they had lost all their relationships, and they figured out that if they lost it, then everybody else was going to lose it too. So they were trying to save me from pain, and I had to honor them for that. But it took me a while. It's something we're taught in life a lot of times, that you can't do this because it's never been done before. On page 340 of The Science of Mind, Dr. Holmes writes about our evolution, and that there's a thought beyond you can't do that. It's never been done before. And that thought is an evolution in consciousness. He talks about going from the simple wheel to the automobile. It was an evolution in consciousness. From the raft to those ships that looked like floating hotels, an evolution in consciousness. From those coal-burning trains of the past to the ultra-modern high-speed trains that run only on electricity. It's an evolution in consciousness. All of life is an evolution in our consciousness. And none of them could ever be done. None of these things could ever be done until they were. Until we did them. I love to prove old concepts wrong. I love to prove the possibilities of what life can be. And we prove it by living it. We have a saying, embrace, embody, embolden. And I think we were okay with the embrace part, and a little tougher with the embody part. And the embolden part means like we have to share it with other people. And one thing we do not like to do is share things with people when they might think we're crazy. And this teaching is not the easiest thing in the world to get out there and tell people about, until it is. Until we decide that it is, that this is the natural way of life. That they are living life backwards. The people that are not saying that your thoughts create, all thought creates, I don't understand how they can even come to this realization. If we're waiting for a God up there to support us, to sustain us, we might be waiting for a long, long time because there is no power out there. The power is within us. There's only one power. And that same power is within me is within you too. It's the same identical power. And we just use it differently. We use it like cars. We use our cars differently. Some are speed demons. Some are not. When you wash your car, when you wash your vehicle, how do you feel? Something happens, isn't it? Your vehicle goes a little faster, a little smoother. It almost says, you know, look at me. It has a bow tie. And it's just a thing. So it's not the thing that does it. It's our consciousness of it. It's our belief of it. It's what we feel it's happening. Because that's the important part of this whole thing. We had a miracle happen. Should I tell him?
Yes.
No, wait till next meeting.
No, you have to know.
Reverend Connie Phelps went into the hospital for an operation. She was diagnosed with cancer. And she asked us to do treatment work. She's been holding this consciousness that once they go in, they're not going to find anything. So we were holding that consciousness for her, all the practitioners, all the ministers. And she went in there yesterday or 2 days ago and had an operation, and they couldn't find anything.
Nice.
So the doctors were gobsmacked. Barb was there.
They said it was going to be a 3 to 4 hour surgery. It was less than 2 hours. The doctor told me it went much easier than expected. It's awesome.
It is. It's awesome. This teaching works.
Yes, it does.
You know, this idea of positive thinking, and some people think, oh, just positive thinking. Yeah, it's positive thinking. I'm holding a different idea in mind than what everybody else might be holding for me. Bonnie went through the same thing. Cancer, now it's gone. She went through all the treatments, and I didn't see her complain once. Not once. She brought this consciousness into here that I'm doing this the best way I can. I'm seeing this, everything that's coming into my body is something that heals my body. And it wasn't that heals her body, but it was that thought that heals the body. Our thoughts are creative, and our thoughts are expansive, and our thoughts are visionary. We just have to let them be thoughts of power. Because we can go the other way with thoughts of power. That life sucks. Thoughts of power. That life is tough. thoughts of power, because they are powerful too. And never expect anything less. So the question is always, what do you want? What do you want in life? Do you want power steering? Do you want brakes? Do you want speed? Do you want gas? Do you want all these things that we want in life? What do you want? Because we just have to begin it. I was thinking about Thanksgiving as I was writing this, and I was thinking about the people that I haven't thanked ever in my life that have, I'm not going to say supported me in this, but got me to this place. I told you before about my teacher, Mr. Smith, who told me when I was in grade 9 that it's going to be tough to get through life when you're fat and stupid. I told you about Mr. Schreiber that hit me on the head 13 times with the math book and said, I'm sorry I had to do that, it hurts the math book. I thought that too. And I thought, you know, that's so yesterday. If I'm going to hold on to their idea of who I am, then I've given them all my power. But once I create something new, once I say, okay, that's done, you're done, and I'm not going to bring Mr. Smith up anymore, by the way. He's done. Mr. Schreiber, I might bring up one more. Because Mr. Schreiber also said that I was the best king in the We Three Kings song. It was also the only time I ever got honors on all my schoolwork in grade 5. Something happened. Whether it was the math book, whether it was the spring, whether it was whatever it was, something happened, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm going to let that other thing go because it means nothing to me now. There's no energy behind it. I'm seeing what possibilities he gave me, and I used them. I've had so many wonderful teachers in my life, so many wonderful teachers. Why would I go back and pick out 2 that didn't support and sustain me? I've got an English teacher that adored my work, and I had no idea that I could even write. He gave me the courage to try again, to do it better, to do it bigger. Encouragement is what we have in life. And we get encouragement not from out there, but from within us and from within us. Encouragement means to have courage to get beyond those ideas that you can't. When people tell me not to encourage other people, that might be asking for money. And I'm saying I can't do that because that's my job, is to encourage people, is to see a greater idea that they can possibly see at the time. To honor them, no matter where they are in life, because I was honored one time, wherever I was in life. But I also saw people that saw me greater than I could see myself in this moment. And those are the things that uplifted. Those are the things that I embrace now. I embody them. And I'm emboldening all you to see a greater idea of who you come here to be. To create that expansive visionary idea of who you really are, and not who you thought you were when you walked in here. Because you are much greater. You are much more powerful than you ever thought you could possibly be. All you have to do is take that one idea. That idea that you haven't been up to bat yet. It doesn't matter what the score is. It doesn't matter what you thought that the score was, because you haven't been up to bat yet. Just wait. Do you ever give thanks for yourself? For that creative mind that you have within you? For that energy that got you beyond there to here? Gratitude comes in more ways. And the power behind gratitude is more than just lip service. There's something that happens when you give gratitude. Have you ever given gratitude to a dog? If you ever loved a dog, you know, it's just crazy what the dog does, just wagging the tail and just, he's all there just for you in that moment, isn't it? And if you ever start yelling at the dog, it's kind of the opposite. The dog goes under the chairs, under the stairs, and just goes away. That's kind of what we do. When we give ourselves gratitude, we think that there's a better way that we can live life. And we live that life a better way. When we start to go down on ourselves, we think we're not that good. We start to hide. We're better than that. Plants do the same thing. We're better than that. Discouragement can leave us with an influx of encouragement. So this week, encourage yourself. Honor yourself. Embrace, embody, and embolden a greater truth. Because you're worth it. So it is.